Welcome to the Simply Pediatrics Podcast, simplifying holistic healthcare for infants and children. We're so glad you're here. Join Jennie Zethner, holistic pediatric nurse practitioner and holistic mom of 3 on a mission. Listen in as she shares the answers to the most asked questions from parents in her practice every day and offers parents practical strategies and actionable steps to support their child's health and well-being. Enjoy this insightful episode of the Simply Pediatrics Podcast and stay tuned for more information at the end of the podcast.
Hi, I'm Jennie Zethner. That's right, I'm here in my car. I don't know about the rest of you, but I find sitting in my car to be very peaceful. It happens to be one of the quietest places I have in my life. I have 3 children. I work full time. I'm busy like the rest of you, and I really would like to share information, and doing it from my car is most convenient. So I'm going to ask you to please forgive if there's any commotion behind me, any beeping, any dogs barking, ambulances, fire trucks, etc. I'll do the best I can to find quiet places. I assure you I will never be driving my vehicle when I speak to you. I will always be pulled over and parked. I am typically parked waiting for one of my children to come out of an event or something. So that is what I'm doing with my time here. And I look forward to sharing information with you. And again, forgive me for being a little unprofessional being here in my car, but I hope it works. And with that, let's get started.
Today's episode, first week home after the birth of your baby.
Hello and welcome. I'm so happy to be here with you today. I am talking about the first week home with your baby. Super exciting time. Love meeting with my new moms and dads, and I can completely feel for all that anxiety and joy and nervousness and exhaustion in that first week. I have 3 kids, as you know, and I can come right back to those feelings. I remember it vividly, just, joy and exhaustion, really, the first week, right? Home with your baby. So some of the things we're going to talk about in the first visit. So we're coming in, it's your first visit, we're the first week, you're home with your baby. There's many things to discuss, and one of them particularly I want to touch on that's really important for families, especially for your first baby, is visitors. Visitors is like synonymous with like new baby. It's like guests, come over, parties, celebrations. No, like absolutely no. All right. So if you're arriving home with your first baby and you have family, friends, well-wishers that want to come over, dad at the door, partner at the door, you are the bouncer. There is no one allowed in the home where there's a newborn. It is a joyous celebration, but it is a quiet celebration. There's no visitors, there's no guests. All right. There's an asterisk next to that. Okay. So there's no visitors, there's no guests for the first 3 months of life. Remember, moms, the first 3 months is really our 4th trimester. All right. Our baby is still developing. We are healing. It is still like a very nurturing, quiet time. And so no guests, no visitors, except whether it's your first baby or your 3rd baby or your 4th baby, the except is the people who are helpers. And they might not be exactly who you expect. The people that are coming in that walk through your door and empty the dishwasher, start the laundry, you don't even have to talk to them. Or the people, mom, dad, you'll matter soon enough, but not quite yet. Those other people who you just love so much. You need them around. They make you feel calm. You love them very much. Just being in there, being with them makes you feel calm and good, right? So those are the only people who really are allowed in the home where there's a newborn. Helpers and the people who mom loves very much and just wants them near her for support. And if you follow that rule for the first 3 months of life, mom and baby will have a better bonding experience. Mom will be under less stress. In many cultures in the world, moms and babies are just taken care of. It's just plain and simple. They're taken care of. United States, not so much. We women think we're supposed to do everything. We're supposed to throw the party, nurse the baby, clean the kitchen, do the laundry. No. All right. So that is not what we're supposed to be doing. Especially if you're breastfeeding, we want you to get in rhythm with your baby. And even if you're bottle feeding, we still want baby bonding with mom. So number 1 rule, no guests, no visitors, just helpers. First 3 months. When I meet moms and dads for the first time and I tell them that, they are usually, sometimes they look like, no, this isn't going to work for our family, but usually they're very, very, relieved to hear that. All right. So we follow that kind of rule and stick with it. And at certain times of the year, like say in the fall and winter, we may extend that even beyond the 3-month mark to kind of get us through the winter. Okay. So first week of life, reminders to all families, no visitors. The other thing really, really important is that mom is eating. Dads and partners, make sure mom's eating. After we deliver a baby, we don't have too great of an appetite, really. It takes a little while for us to kind of feel back to ourselves. And eating might not be the thing that we're thinking about doing. A, we might not make the time to do it, and B, we might not have an appetite. So a woman can go through a lot of a day and realize, I didn't really eat much of anything except like a snack or a chip here and there. Not good. Not good for mom in regard to healing, especially if mom's had a C-section. Not good for moms who are breastfeeding, because we really want to bring in some hearty breast milk, and that comes from really iron-rich food. So iron-rich foods are our warm, our cooked. Hopefully if you're eating animal meats, this is easier for us because all the animal meats are real high in iron. We cook them, they're warm, they're nourishing. If you're vegetarian, then it's leafy greens, seeds, nuts, beans. Again, in a warm and cooked fashion is really optimal for us. In Chinese medicine, our stomach is like an oven. So if you put food in there that's cold, damp, dry, it's really not nourishing for our whole body. The body kind of has to heat up to break that down. And after we've delivered a baby, our bodies aren't really in that optimal state. So you want to put that extra stress on the system, on the adrenal glands and the nervous system. So you really want like warm, cooked, nourishing, really any time of the year. The most optimal food for breastfeeding moms in that first week or two is stews and soups. First of all, they're flavorful. They usually contain all the nourishment that we need, and they keep for a while. You can keep a soup in the refrigerator for leftovers for a bit, and it's easy for mom to grab. All right, so be real mindful of that. Get outside, really fresh air any time of the year in that first week and then on is very healing. And there's studies, there's an article up on my website about other parts of the world, how they're outside with their newborns right away. I can't say that I did that right away in the winter with some of my babies, but certainly just even standing outdoors on a sunny day, even if it's cold, is very, very healing and very nourishing for our babies, for their nervous system and for their immune system. That fresh air is good for us. So don't hesitate to go outdoors with your baby. Certainly have them bundled. One extra layer on our babies is mindful, and that will keep them comfortable. But definitely get some fresh air, okay? So visitors we're avoiding, and that the meals for moms super important, and fresh air there. Don't expect to sleep. We traveled inside, right? So babies traveled inside of us for 9 months. Your baby was inside of you for 9 months. Moms that expect to put their baby down in a bassinet and for them to sleep alone in especially that first week there, that's not going to happen. Not going to happen, right? Sleep when your baby sleeps, sitting in a chair, wherever you're comfortable and safe. Somebody else ideally is around you, keeping an eye on you and the baby so that the baby is safe there. But rest and keep your baby with you, skin to skin. Allow the baby to hear your heartbeat and let he or she be close to you, and sleep when your baby sleeps. Exhaustion will set in. We run on a lot of energy there in those first couple of days, and then moms get hit with it real hard by the end of the week and they're exhausted. Sleep when your baby sleeps. Don't expect to stay up all day long and then go to bed at night. Your baby's not going to go to bed. That baby needs to eat. Whether they're nursing or bottle fed, they're going to eat every 2 to 3 hours or so. So do not expect them, listen, the first couple nights perhaps they're sleeping, but once they're waking up and that breast milk is in on day 3, 4, they're awake. All right. I have a lot of conversations with my newer moms. I think the expectation is that, I'm going to swaddle my baby and put them in the bassinet and they're going to sleep. It's really it's really the exception to the rule and not the norm. All right. So sleep, mommy, sleep when your baby is sleeping. I promise you, the first 3 months is rough. It is hard. It is challenging, but it goes by in a blink, and it will be a memory, a sweet memory that is filled with, just like I told you, right? My kids are grown, but I can still, bring those feelings back. They're very joyous times, but they are exhausting. So certainly rest when your baby is resting. All right. Other just like technicalities in that first week there of life. The cord, the cord is there. It's icky looking. Families get a little nervous with that. Nothing's going to happen to it. It falls off on its own. Typically, it falls off within the first 2 weeks of life. When it falls off, that cord, you're going to keep it dry until then. Okay, so we keep the diapers down below it. The cloth can, the clothing can be over it. Yes, they can rest on their bellies. It's not going to hurt them. We don't want to get it wet, so no bathing of that cord. You don't want it to get wet. You don't have to put anything on it though, just leave it be. It will fall off on its own time. When it falls off, it's a little bit gooey, a little tiny drops of blood here and there, and then after a couple days it's totally dry, and then we can give a baby a bath. Until then, really just a little bit of like a sponge bath, and no soap on your newborn skin. Okay, first 6 months, really not too much soap. First week of life, certainly no soap. If you've circumcised your baby, certainly make sure you've gotten those directions for the care of the circumcision site. It's usually like a big blob of Vaseline or unvaseline, which is what I like to recommend families use. Keeping that area real moist. You don't want that skin around the circumcision area to get dry. You want to keep it moist with some Vaseline-like ointment on there. All right. Dry skin is very common. Babies were, submerged in water there for 9 months. So their skin's going to be a little crinkled and a little dried up. That's all normal. If you're breastfeeding, you want to put a little breast milk on that skin, that's fine. Otherwise, leave it. It will take care of itself. It will resolve on its own. I will have a whole entire podcast about swaddling because it's a pretty big problem, I believe. But I'm just going to tell you right now, your baby's arms need to be up. Please don't pay attention to all those TikTok videos with the babies like mummies with their arms down. Really dangerous. We're not supposed to stop that startle reflex. The startle reflex is when the arms flip up like this, right? And parents get all upset because it wakes up their baby. Yeah, it's supposed to. It's there for a reason. The startle reflex or the moral reflex is there to protect your baby. It wakes them up because they need to be woken. It may clear their airway if they're about to choke. It wakes you up because now they're crying. So do not swaddle your baby with their arms down and with their arms trapped in like a mummy. Their hands should be near their face. Some real talented babies learn to suck on their fingers early on, so their hands can be near their face, and they do need to get into that position where they can startle that moral reflex. They need to be able to do that. Again, I'm going to have a whole podcast about swaddling because it's become quite a problem. There's a lot of media about wrapping up your baby and getting rid of that startle reflex. Please don't do that. All right. Well, those are just some of the basics about your baby's first week of life. Certainly visit your pediatric provider within that first week to get more information and reassurance. But I hope this information was helpful. All right, that is it for today. Remember, parenting is a journey. Even in that first week of life there, you're doing an amazing job. Stay curious and stay informed, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you for joining Jennie on the Simply Pediatrics Podcast. We hope that the valuable information she shared in this episode will inspire and empower you on your holistic parenting journey. If you would like to learn more about Jennie, her Simply Pediatrics practice, or anything that she spoke about today, please check the show notes that accompany this podcast and you'll find all the links and resources you need. You can also sign up for the Simply Pediatrics mailing list so that you receive Jennie's weekly newsletters packed with vital information and holistic parenting gems. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please consider giving this page a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any episodes. And don't forget to connect with us by sharing your thoughts in the comments section below. Follow Simply Pediatrics on any and all of the social media platforms. And if you're interested in an in-person or a virtual appointment with Jennie, please see the contact details in the show notes. Stay tuned for more episodes packed with a wealth of powerful information to support you on your holistic parenting path. See you next time.